Hey guys, Joe Madden here, the Joe Madden Sports Podcast. I'm going to be talking NHL with Chris today. Chris, the host of Mean Streets and Dangle Vets. Celly, Callie, I am so glad to have you here. Thank you for joining me. Host of FTN Networks. What's shaking today, Chris?
Hey, happy Monday. Thank you for taking the time here today to talk a little hockey. Did not have an episode of Mean Streets with it being Victoria Day here north of the border. So happy to chop it up with you again. It was fun. You joined Eric Young and myself over at Dangle Celly. That was highly entertaining. And we have two exceptional looking matchups tonight on the ice. Thanks for having me, Joe.
Oh, do we ever have two exceptional matchups? I can't wait for this. I can't wait to hear your take on these games. I know we've been going back and forth over the Blues and Ryan O'Reilly. So let's look at these games tonight. The first one kicks off at 7 o'clock Eastern with the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Any hope for the Panthers here, or is this series over?
I think it's done. I think it's done. And it pains me to say it. I've been riding this Panthers team all year long. A cup future on them to start the season. I had the same questions that everybody else had, Joe. I'm sure you did as well, and your viewers. Is that this team, could they get it done in the playoffs? The regular season, they were phenomenal. They had a top 5 power play. They were the best team on home ice. They were scoring goals left, right, and center. Last year in the playoffs, they lost to Tampa Bay, and the difference, in my opinion, was special teams, a little bit of goaltending. Sergei Bobrovsky's been great in the playoffs. This is not on him. Florida's 1 for 28 on the power play. 1 for 28? Are you kidding me? They're not finding any offense on special teams. They've allowed the most power play goals in the playoffs, so their penalty kill has not been where it should be. And for Tampa Bay, they've scored more power play goals than anybody here in the playoffs. And they seem to have everybody's number. I counted them out in this series. I thought it would go the distance. I'm counting them out tonight. Florida, that is. I think Tampa gets it done. I think there's actually some value, Joe, on plus 195 on the puck line. I know they say the toughest win is that fourth one, and it certainly could be. But if they get up by a couple goals here, Tampa, you could expect Florida to pull their goalie with like 4 or 5 minutes left, just kind of try to throw everything at Vasilevsky, and it could get dangerous at the end, like it has in 2 of the 3 games. So I'm on Tampa.
Yeah, this is a hard one for me. I was looking at this and, I hate that back against the wall situation of what we could see out of the Panthers, but it's like throwing pennies into a fountain trying to hit with the Panthers right now. It's just not a good situation. Are you thinking anything on this total? Because the one way I was looking at is has to go over with these empty netters in this one. And the number 6, I like it at the over.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I like the 6. I think we will see some goals. Like I said, we could see some towards the end. Florida's still getting their fair share of opportunities on the power play. They're drawing penalties. Finally got the first power play goal in game 3, but maybe they could get a couple. And again, I feel like Florida's getting in their own way, and they're taking penalties as well, and they can't kill them off. So Kucherov has been an absolute beast. I do like the total there. I will throw a one-shot prop that I like at you, though. I do think we'll see a lot, like some desperation from this Florida team. Not that we haven't seen it. They've had the edge actually in all the 5-on-5 play, the expected goals, high danger chances, scoring chances. They've had the slight edge. Like I said, it's been the special teams. But the captain Barkov, I'm looking for him. His shot prop is high at 3.5 plus money, plus 125 for 4 shots here. He'd had 6 shots in his last game. He's cleared this number in 6 of his last 8. He has a series high 25 shot attempts. So the attempts have been there. He's starting the net with those attempts, 14 shots here in the last 3. So I'm going to lean with Barkov, at least to show up here in the stat sheet column.
Yeah, hopefully he shows up. And hopefully for all of us, the Tampa Bay Lightning don't have an extended break over the rest of these teams. I'd love to see the Panthers get a win tonight because this Tampa Bay Lightning team does not need more rest time between their next games. So it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, it will for sure. I can't believe that they're doing it again. I didn't really count them out last year, but to do it 3 years in a row, and maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves, but they have the best team in the league on the ropes here. Yeah. Certainly the best team on the East. And like you said, like a few days off potentially to rest Braden Point. They're doing this without Braden Point as well. Hate to count out the Panthers. I'd love to see them extend this series, right? The Battle of Alberta has been highly entertaining. Let's see the Battle of Florida kick it up a notch with a W with Florida, but hard to back them right now, Joe.
Absolutely. Any thoughts on Corey Perry for the first goal scorer here? Because he has scored the first goal in the last 2 games.
Yes, you were on the show when we talked about this. Were you not? I think you may have been when we talked about Corey Perry and just the extended boost that he's been getting, certainly on the power play. I love the call as a long shot. It doesn't even seem like a long shot at this point. He's got 3 goals. He's got a couple power play goals. He was a beast last year for the Canadiens, playing on the 4th line throughout their entire Stanley Cup run, getting some power play time, contributing on the power play. He's got so much experience. He's been through all of it. He's got a cup, and he's getting power play 1 time with Braden Point sideline. So I like, maybe you take a little 0.25 unit on a power play goal or a power play point, or 0.25, 0.5, however it is that you bet on maybe a first goal or even an anytime goal. I think he's in play there as well because he is getting a little bit more ice time, and that penalty kill for Florida has been great.
Oh, absolutely. Let's move on to the next game. The Colorado Avalanche taking on the St. Louis Blues. Now we know Binghamton went out in the last game, really changed the whole dynamics of that game. Husso coming in, not mentally, in my opinion, prepared to step in for Binghamton. No one saw it coming. What are your thoughts on this game? Are the St. Louis Blues dead in the water without Binghamton, or can we see Husso perform like we saw him during the regular season?
Yeah, it's a great question, and you're right. He was really good towards the end of the regular season. Actually, all season, he was good when Bennington wasn't great, and he was getting pulled, and they were trying to go back to him in soft matchups, and he still wouldn't be great. And they went back to Husso, and he was fantastic. I expect him to be a little bit sharper. That's probably a fair point. Just getting thrown in there in the middle of the fire in Game 3 against the Avs. It's the high expectations that they have. I don't think St. Louis is done. Game 1, they were outmatched, but it was Game 1 at home. Colorado's good at home. They had a really good Game 2 in a hostile environment. And then I thought the game was pretty even for the most part. Game 3 on home ice, and Colorado just kind of took over. I do give the edge to the Avs here. It stinks to come in here with a favorite and say, yeah, I mean, I did put them in the FTM bet tracker this morning at -155. I think that they win here. There's a lot going on with Kadri and the team. St. Louis certainly needs to keep their head on straight and just, not worry about Nazem Kadri. He's been a pain in their butt the past 2 seasons with some questionable hits, but it's tough. Bennington was playing so good,
Yep.
Joe. He was playing really good. That was, to me, the difference when they made that switch. Berube made that switch in the first round against Minnesota, kind of got them going again. I think I just got to go with the goaltending difference in Kemper and Husso there, even though he did have the really good regular season. I think the Avs win this one too. And it stinks because we've chatted before about the Blues. I want to jump on the value with the team on home ice. Tell me you're at least leaning with St. Louis, and maybe I'm on an island here. Yeah,
I
thank
am.
you.
I'm
All
going to
right.
lean with St. Louis here. I've got a
Nice.
sprinkle on that money line. I also like their team total over 2.5. Little bit highly
like that
juiced at
too.
-140. But if they have a chance of winning this, they have to get at least 3 goals against the Colorado Avalanche.
I really like
Any
the total too. The team, the whole game total, 6.5. I think we see some offense. I think St. Louis will do their share. They've played right there, 5-5, and the edge over the past 2 games and expected goals. So I love that call. The 2.5, I like that one as well. And you get 3 goals, and you figure that the Avs can kind of do their part. And if we get a 3-2 game in the third and a tie, we're right there. I think we should ride out Ryan O'Reilly too, right? I mean, I know your viewers and your listeners have been on Ryan O'Reilly here. His odds haven't changed that much throughout the playoffs. He's been plus money up until puck drop in Game 3 at 2.5 shots. And this morning I saw -105 over at Caesars. He's had at least 3 shots in every game of this series and 7 of his 9 total. And also his points. It's a little juice as well now, -140. We were getting plus money for this guy. Ryan O'Reilly flipped the switch, playoff beast, 7 goals, 12 points in 9 playoff games. And he's hit the score sheet in 8 of those 9. So I think, they'll be leaning on the captain, just like Florida, lean on the captain. And one thing, Joe, I've noticed is the ice time has really been there for O'Reilly, as they like to line match and try to get him out there as much as McKinnon, and he's out there all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Books finally catching up on Ryan O'Reilly here, giving us, making us pay more juice to bet him. But I still think it's worth it. It's like they were in our DMs, so not sure what happened there. Any other props you're looking at for this one?
I like the Kucherov one. Plus, for him to have a 2-point night, we know he talked about Tampa just having success, and Kucherov by +155 for 2 points. In the first round, he was very quiet against the Maple Leafs, and I don't know, it didn't look like he was really in it. I don't know, maybe he took the Leafs lightly. They hadn't won a playoff series in 18 years, but now without Braden Point, he's shooting the puck more. He's got 16 shot attempts in 3 games, which is more than he had in the 7-game series against the Leafs at 5-5. So he's got 10 shots here in his last 2, 7 points. I like the +155. And another blue that has caught my eye is Jordan Kyrou.
Okay.
He's been plus money for 2.5 shots. He's another guy, maybe for 3 shots. And at minus 125, I think a decent price for Mikko Rantanen to have an assist tonight. Rantanen's got 9 assists in 7 games and an assist in each of these games here in the series. It's McKinnon just likes to hog the puck a little bit. Rantanen knows he wants to give McKinnon the puck, and McKinnon's had a really good playoff. So if you can get one of those in the back of net, maybe it's assisted by Rantanen.
Okay, great way to take that. Now, before I let you go here, I have to ask, you have any hopes that the Calgary Flames can win tomorrow night against Edmonton Oilers in Edmonton?
Of course, I do. I really do. That game did not go well, Joe. You know that. Your viewers, your listeners know that. It was, talking about an electric atmosphere in Edmonton last night. They came out very, very strong. McDavid is on a whole nother level. But I believe in this Calgary team. This wasn't going to be easy, right? The Battle of Alberta, it really has been a battle all year long. Calgary's done a great job of bouncing back after losses. Edmonton has done a great job of bouncing back after losses too. Mike Smith looks pretty good, but I think one thing that was encouraging for me, Joe, is that I thought Markstrom looked more like himself. I know they let in some goals in game 3, but he was really strong where he was just mediocre in the first 2 games of the series. I think Calgary will bounce back. I believe in their 5-5 play. You're going to have to sweat that series out as a Flames fan. I think it's going the distance.
I think it is too. It's going to stress me out, give me tons of gray hair. I'm going to have to be sponsored by a hair dye company by the end of this for sure. It's not pretty. I'm going to have to also deliver gift baskets to all of my neighbors on the block, I'm sure.
Oh no.
It's not good. It was a good thing I was at a pub last night and everyone was yelling at the TV. So, but Chris, I know it's Victoria Day there. I'm going to let you get back to everything you have going on. Can you let the viewers know where to follow you on socials and as well where to find your shows and what time they're at?
Yeah, I appreciate the plug. At Chris Meaney on the Twitter machine. Try to keep it simple for you guys. I have a Mean Street show, which is just dedicated to all the sports. Usually cover the big 4, of course, hockey. Getting into NFL, draft prep, and then Major League Baseball. We have some props and some picks on that show, as well as NBA playoffs. Even talk a little golf. Esports, which I know nothing about, but some of our viewers really like. And we get some esports experts over at FTN to stop by and hang out with me. And then Dangle Celly. So the Mean Streets is 12 Eastern. Stream it from the FTN YouTube account, and I tweeted out at Chris Meaney, also on Game Plus Network at 2 Eastern. And then there's Dangle Celly, which we had you on last week, and we're going to have you on again this week. That's on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 Eastern, and then also it airs on Game Plus Network at 5 Eastern as well. So tweet out all the shows and all the things that I take part in over at FTN at Chris Meaney. So appreciate the plug, and this is a blast. Thanks.
Thanks, Chris. I really appreciate you joining me here. You guys, make sure you go give Chris a follow. The great content he is producing is amazing. And I'll see you tomorrow, Chris. I'm excited to be on your show.
All right. We'll be talking about the Flames bouncing back, I'm sure. Have a good rest of your show.
Absolutely. You guys, thank you so much for joining us here for the Joe Madden Sports Podcast. I will be back later with another show. All the best in all of your bets.